One, two, three, the lawn feed.
Welcome back to another episode of the Lawn Feed Podcast. I'm your host today, Vince from Rudy Lawn Co. And with me, I have Chris, it's Mo Time, and Andrew, the Dad Bod Lawn. Welcome, fellas.
Hello.
Hey, Vincent.
How are we doing tonight?
Fantastic.
Good.
Not night for all of us, though.
What's that?
No.
Said it's not night for all of us.
It isn't. And speaking of, and we have a special guest with us tonight. He's been on our show 2 years ago. And, it's wild how quick time goes, and also how our channels drastically change, often for the better. His account has grown over 254,000 followers on Instagram, and his YouTube channel, he was just starting when we had him on, and he's got over 115 plus videos already on that. He's done everything in these past 2 years, from making babies, growing grass, having fun with major lawn renovations. And Nick from Lawns and GoodNick from the land down under, welcome.
G'day guys, how are you? Thanks for having me back on. Definitely been a massive 2 years. It's a super hot summer's day here for us today as well. So hopefully can spread some of that summer joy with you guys. Dealing with the snow, great to be back on.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on, man.
Good to have you. And it's noon over. It's a complete 12-hour difference basically. So this is cool. It's cool that we got all this to happen. So welcome back.
Yeah. I'm having lunch and you guys are putting kids to bed. So,
Pretty much.
You guys aren't, but someone is.
That's just it.
Put them to bed.
That's right.
They're in bed now.
Thanks.
That's just it.
And before we talk about the kids, let's quickly thank our friends over at Twin City Seed for powering this episode and season of the Lawn Feed Podcast. Twin City Seed offers elite quality and custom blends of grass seed to homeowners, turf professionals, and more. Home of the Resilience 2, Blue Resilience, Fielder's Choice, and also the After Dark series, shipping to all 50 states and Canada. Check out twincityseed.com and twincityseed.ca and enjoy 15% off through the month of February 2025. And check out the banner for free shipping and enjoy the seed for your next seeding project. The banner is at the top of the website.
The old 51st state.
Get that After Dark while you can.
That's right. The After Dark won't be around for long. So get on it. Enjoy the 15% off.
And there is a big difference between the Tough Turf and Tough Turf After Dark. So if you want just an awesome blend that grows quick and is durable in hot heat, but also super dark, Tough Turf After Dark.
It's even harder to say than it is
it really is
to the weather.
It's easier to grow than it is to say.
That's great. That's a tagline.
So tonight we're going to dive into a bunch of fascinating topics all about Nick, his channel, his lawn projects, achievements, and dad life. But first, we need to do some wins and losses.
Yeah, we do.
A lawn feed tradition where we tap into who we are at heart. Dad! This is Dad's Wins and Losses, where we tap into our inner dad bod father figures and highlight some of the recent wins we've experienced as parents, and of course, vent about the embarrassing losses we take each and every day as dads.
I love you, Daddy.
What are you eating over there?
He's trying to keep the kids up, apparently. Jeez,
I didn't know if that was part of the
no,
intro.
that's just Vince.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like yeah.
These are good microphones.
Does my mute button not work?
No,
I
apparently
don't
not.
think you know
Never
how to use
has.
it.
I'm sorry.
Gravel in a blender over there.
Right.
Well, Nick, you've done this before. You gotta kind of shake the dust off. It's been a while, but you're dad. You're in it. You're in the fire. Some wins, some losses. Probably got a whole bunch of them. Let's hear them.
Yeah, well, since last time, my youngest is now the age of my oldest, which is wild. But I'll go loss win. So quickly with the youngest, 2.5 years, really tough years. He was a tough kid for a long time, probably even a bit longer. But the last 6 to 8 months, golden. Like just a perfect example for us of consistency and all that sort of thing, and the way that we, deal with the tantrums and all that sort of stuff. And he's just been a ray of sunshine for the last 6 or 8 months. The happiest kid, so good. loss for my older son. Separation anxiety actually has been a big one for us. I don't know if you guys have had any of that with your kids, but he always been more attached to my wife than me. And then she got really sick with pregnancy number 3 and sort of spent about 5 or 6 weeks in bed / on the couch. Really, really unwell. And he didn't seem too affected at the time, but sort of once she started reintegrating to life again, he sort of was getting really, really tough with dropping him off to kinder and just leaving the house. One morning, my wife just left to go for a walk. And it was meltdown at the front door, like, want mum, I want mum, screaming. So it was like far out. We got school starting in like 3 weeks. If he's that kid losing it first day of school or just school drop-offs in general, like, this is going to be tough. But yeah, we did a few things. He's a big sticker chart kid or star chart kid. So we worked on happy goodbyes and blah, blah, blah. And his school drop-offs have been, thankfully, extremely smooth, and the separation anxiety in general. A lot to the story. It was something we're debriefing on sort of every night for 20 minutes of trying this and how's he going and what's happening and how can we navigate it. But thankfully, he's been really good. He came home with an award. He got to go up on the stage. And it was kind of like, did everyone get one of these? No, just me and someone else. And so I was like, good job.
Nice.
So he's done really well to start off his first little bit of school, first week and a half so far, 2 weeks. It's turned into a win. A couple of pats on the back to myself and my wife. We certainly try really hard with our parenting and we're always talking about it. So to be honest, I could talk about kids and parenting the whole podcast if you like, but it's something. Couple for you there.
That's awesome.
That transition is always tough to school for the first time. Even like after the first summer break and you go back to school the next year, it's tough. But like these kids, they just hop right into it once they realize like they have friends there. It's kind of fun. It's gets a little easier. Routine. Yeah,
and we only see the bad part, right? We see them losing their mind, and then 5 minutes later, it's fine.
Yep.
Right.
So, as soon as you left, they were fine. It's like, of course.
Well, at least that's what they tell us anyway, right? Could have been a meltdown for an hour, but who knows?
Yeah.
So
yep.
That's cool. You kind of slid the whole. I'm expecting another one here in a little bit. When do you guys do?
Yeah, July. We've got number 3 coming along. So
congrats,
little girl. So yeah,
there we go.
Yeah. So you guys all got girls?
No, just Andrew and I.
I have one. Cool. I have one of each.
One of each.
Yeah. Yep. 2 girls and a boy.
Yep. Yeah, so it's going to be different, obviously, having a girl, I think. I'll still try to play fight and wrestle and that sort of thing, but I think there's a few sort of natural differences that come between boys and girls. So definitely incredibly happy and fortunate to have my wife as the role model for her as, a woman to be like in life. So that is definitely going to be very helpful throughout all of our lives as a family. But, going to be different. So... going back to bottles and naps and all that fun stuff.
Sleepless nights.
It's something to look forward to, isn't it?
It is.
We've been pretty lucky with the other 2, so hopefully it goes smoothly.
Yeah, congrats. That's awesome. That's a big deal. So, as Vince was talking about earlier, we obviously a lot's happened in 2 years since we've kind of had you on. I mean, we us 4 kind of go back and forth. In the DMs, all that stuff, but like obviously keep up with each other. But a lot's happened in 2 years. It's crazy. So we've grown, you've grown. We have new people listening in. There's probably new people listening in from across the pond. So I appreciate you guys listening in as well. But for those who don't follow you, don't know who you are, what got you into this whole lawn care, Instagram, YouTube world, and why did you decide to do it? And here we are.
Yeah, I guess just with our first house, like I've always, just like keeping it neat and tidy. And we started off just throwing all of the rubbish from the inside of the house when we renovated on the front lawn. And then once that was all cleared away and the inside was done, it was like, now I started mowing and I had this big dead patch that I just was watering and the rhizomes from underneath just came back up and through. And, so that regenerated itself. And then yeah, eventually just continually mowing and enjoying keeping it tidy, just gradually progressed into watching YouTube and learning more and trialing more and really getting into the hobby. And then I was sort of posting just on my personal Instagram story and stuff like that. So my wife eventually pushed me one day to, well, it took a bit to get me to do it, but started the Instagram, and it was kind of like, oh, but I just want to post photos on here and stuff. And then I started making a few reels and just continued to snowball. So you mentioned earlier, yeah, it's been my first YouTube video would have been a couple of weeks after the last time I was on here 2 years ago. So pretty much I haven't missed. I'm actually not going to upload this weekend because I just didn't have time for a video this week. But pretty much out of the last, say, 105 Sundays I would have posted, you know, in the late 90s times, and occasionally 2 uploads a week onto YouTube as well. So I've been enjoying mixing in that sort of content. Yeah, big growth in followers. I would have been around about 25, 30,000 last time we chatted. So yeah, definitely had a bit of growth and a few sort of viral reels and that sort of thing in that time. And just
Your
been
Instagram's
expanding.
around like 20, 30,000 at that point.
I think so, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I vaguely remember that Christmas being around 25. Yeah. I had something going viral at the time when I got like 5,000 followers in 5 days to go from 20 to 25. And it just, because it was around Christmas, it just stuck in my mind. So yeah, that's
no one's keeping track.
Yeah. It's weird how it works though. Like you always post videos, it's your best ones, you know, that you put the time into that do okay. But then it's just a random one that pops off and gets millions. And you're like, but can you watch the other stuff? Because that's the stuff I put more time into and has better information about, you know, improving your lawn or whatever. And this random one does well. Not that you know, it still obviously brings more traffic to your page in general. But yeah, so no, it's been really enjoyable taking it to more audiences. Yeah, the YouTube's been fun. So yeah, it's definitely more of a. It's still a hobby, but it's also a job now as well. I would say, just with different sponsorships and brands and stuff that I work with. And it was only sort of got to a point of looking at the accounting numbers, and it was like, yeah, no, it's definitely not just a little thing on the side. You know, I've got a fair few sort of streams of income, and yeah, it's good to be able to obviously contribute to the household. I've been a stay-at-home dad for 2 years now, so to still be contributing and that sort of thing is great too.
Yeah, win-win. And you used to be, a physical education teacher or something like that? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I was a PE teacher, and then, we're just sort of talking about, we're sort of in the process of buying this place and just thinking about how things were going to look moving forward for us. And, you know, we sort of, did have our kids in full-time care and didn't necessarily love that. Had some conversations with my employer about potentially going part-time, which was pretty firmly rejected and not supported. But
well, then you got me no time. How about that?
Yeah. So let's not make it a whole podcast about that lack of support in that workplace.
Welcome to the club, brother.
Yeah, definitely. Look, and it's something my wife is so big on with her business is just workplace culture. So it just makes such a big difference to having supported employees who want to stick around. So anyway, so it's now having the all the social media stuff to keep me occupied, because I couldn't just sit around all day. I was chatting to a mate the other day, and he's like, do you ever just, you know, sit around, put some movies on and, you know, don't really do much? Or I'm like, I honestly couldn't. I just am too go to do stuff. So to be the recording the videos and having all that side, and it does provide income and that sort of thing too, is good for my sort of me being able to keep moving and keep occupied as well, for sure.
And I feel like if you have those lazy days and you start to kind of get lackadaisical, you start to just fall into that regularly, and you're not really holding yourself accountable for, you know, all the work you want to do and get done too. So you got to just keep at it, right?
There's just too much to get done for me. Like I don't know. I really honestly attribute my mental health to exercise, to being like having things to work towards and all that sort of stuff, you know. Like I'd be the sort of person that if touch wood I was to break a leg and not be able to get off the couch for a couple of months, or go through what my wife has just gone through, being bedbound, you know, hospital visits and just feeling awful. And she's been back to work now for the last 5 or 6 weeks, but still feeling at some stage in the day at a minimum pretty terrible. That would really weigh on me, like really be tough. So for me to have projects, to have my health, to exercise and to all that sort of thing really does keep me mentally healthy. So yeah, it's really, really important to me.
I feel like we hit that during the off season. It's just like you go from outside, like seasonal depression, like it's real. Like you go from outside, it's always, somewhat nice out. You're mowing the lawn, you're outside, you're doing anything. You have the kids out there, and then all of a sudden it's just boom, freezing cold. Grass isn't growing, nothing's growing. You don't want to be out there. You're just stuck inside. It's just like weighs you down. So I get it. If it was sunny and warm all year round, I wouldn't want to stop doing stuff outside either.
Yeah, I mean, that snow that you guys deal with and that level of cold, like how tough it must be to, especially young kids, get them outside.
It's the worst.
Yeah,
it's
it would
not
be
safe
tough
at a certain time.
Yeah, so the creativity for indoor activities must get tough.
So you are in the end of summer right now, correct?
Yeah, a couple of weeks of summer to go. Yeah.
So, which is like, I still think that's absolutely nuts. Which it's cool that it's like completely opposite. But so, and geographically speaking, in Australia, you're located where?
I'm in Victoria, which is one of the more southern states. Yeah.
So that's all warm. So warm season grass.
Yeah, look, you could.
Us.
If you could, you could definitely maintain a cool season lawn year round if you had the right microclimate, the right shade in the right place. In my area. Obviously, the amount of watering that you would need to be doing and wetting agents and that sort of thing would be a lot. But yeah, you can certainly maintain a cool season lawn. A lot of people here will overseed cool season for winter to be able to do it year round. But yeah, predominantly warm season grass. Like I can keep my warm season grass green for the whole year, all right through winter as well. Played with pigments for the first time last winter, which is a lot of sports stadiums do, definitely in Australia, I'm sure over there as well. So yeah, using that, liquid fertilizers and that sort of thing, because you get to a point where the soil temps are too low to break down a granular fertilizer. So yeah, sort of keeps you occupied and can still be out there mowing, at least every 2 or 3 weeks. I sort of usually tend to end up mowing weekly in winter just because, even though I'm just maybe clipping off the tiny little bit here and there, just to go for a walk and sharpen up the stripes or whatever. But yeah, it's a pretty good climate, to be honest. A lot of people in Queensland and that sort of spot, like we went in the middle of winter, we went up to Queensland last year in June, and we're like barely wore a jumper the whole time. Like it was beautiful, sunny, 22, 23 degrees. I don't know what the equivalent of that is, maybe like 70
Celsius.
Or something for you guys.
70s, I think.
So, it's a pretty, I like our climate. I sort of like having to fight through the coldness of winter at times to be able to earn your spring, summer and early autumn, it's nice.
Yeah, you have a big fight there.
Yeah.
You're there.
Maybe appreciate it a bit more when it warms up.
Now you talk about warm season grass. I want to hear you pronounce the kind of grass that you have.
It's called kikuyu.
Watch your mouth.
Kikuyu.
So
what about cooch?
So you have, cooch.
Cooch. I forgot about that.
For me,
You had like rattled that off on the last time you were here, and we're like, what did you just say?
Oh, that's that's good.
So you have kikuyu. What else do you have? Because you just did a section that you put sod down, right? What was that?
Yeah, so I've laid, you guys call it St. Augustine, buffalo grass that I've put there, so a nice broadleaf sort of grass.
Do you like it?
I do actually, yeah. So I've got a video to go live tonight actually talking about heights of cut, because you guys cut super high over there generally, and then we tend to cut quite short over here. So I think trying to get people to cut a little bit taller, and it just means that 1/3 rule, is not as, you're not breaking it as much, or you don't need to mow as frequently. So just sort of less inputs and that sort of stuff. So I'm maintaining that at 60 mil, which is 2.25, 2.5 inches, which is very tall for us over here. But yeah, so it's a little area. It's about 180 square meters. So I think it's like 1,800 square feet. So I've put in a nice fire pit there and a big feature garden. So waiting for all that to grow in, and then it's about 70 square meters. 700 square feet or so of the buffalo grass there. So yeah, being able to lay that turf and show all that content, and the YouTube video for that was fantastic because I had the guy from My Home Turf, Nathan, who came out, and he's been in the industry for like 30 years or something like that. So he had so many great tips. It made for a great video that people really enjoyed. So yeah, just having something different over there as opposed to a shorter cut cylinder mode lawn, because it's a little bit difficult to get a mower over there. You kind of got to walk the right way around the backyard or up some steps. So yeah, I'm eventually going to set up my robot mower there as well, and just let that clip it off twice a week at 60 or so millimeters. And yeah, just be able to show something different. I think in the fact of buffalo grass not having rhizomes is different to, not being able to scarify it as hard and all that sort of thing. So being able to do some bits and pieces, different kinds of lawn renovations on there and all that sort of stuff, because even hardware stores over here have got buffalo specialized products and stuff. And so people really think that it has to be treated so differently. Whereas in my lawn care programs, like every single product that you can use that I use on Kikuyu, I'm going to use it on my buffalo lawn as well. So just kind of being able to, it's a little bit for the content, the reason I got it. It also just the type of grass fits that patch perfectly. I wouldn't have wanted a 10 millimeter cylinder mode couch in that zone. So yeah, really enjoying having it so far and showing all of that to people. Hopefully it's been good.
Yeah, I mean, the projects that you've done have been amazing. That I think I understand where you're talking about. That area that was completely redone. Tore up everything, right?
Yeah. So took out, what did I take out? About 25 cubic meters. I don't know what that is for you guys, but 25 cubic meters of the old soil and the top Kikuyu grass, because it is so invasive. But yeah, I dug it out and then left it for a couple of weeks. I fertilized it with some urea and then had shoots of growth, like shoots of leaf coming through from those rhizomes that are, what are we talking, like 8 inches? So I dug out like 8 inches of soil in some parts, and there's shoots of green coming back through. So then I sprayed it another couple of times and then brought in the new soil, put in the garden edging, and like 60 or so native plants and trees. And then the lawn area. So yeah, we haven't been able to use the fire pit too much because it's been so hot. Right. So yeah, getting into some hopefully cooler nights coming up, we'll be able to get out there a little bit more. There's it's a stage of life, I think, where one of my favorite things to do is sit out by the fire by myself with a couple of beers, maybe a nice Shiraz, and sit out there and enjoy that. So to sit out in that space now that I've created will be very satisfying.
Yeah.
Good time to
awesome.
decompress and just relax for sure.
Oh, just put some music on, put a nice playlist on, whatever you're feeling on the day. Yeah. Come in smelling like smoke, have a shower, and sneak into bed.
Right.
You guys got to get some smokeless fire pits down there.
I saw that, actually. I saw you spooking that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. These things are
Send me one.
He's
the
on
shipping
it.
would be on that.
I think the aluminum might be a little more expensive, but we'll get it over there.
Look, I reckon the shipping's probably as much as the fire pit, but
we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
So what kind of mower are you using on that buffalo grass? I'm assuming it's a rotary mower. Are you using battery, gas? Like, what's your go-to for that?
Yeah, just battery Ryobi mower. Yeah, I got sent that spring year and a half ago. And yeah, got sent it to use, and it's one of those things. Sometimes you get sent something and you might like it and make a video, but don't have much use for it, particularly ongoing. But yeah, so when I've got my petrol mower sitting right next to it, or I've got this battery one, I go for it basically every time. If I've got to pick up some leaves before I cylinder mow or something like that. So yeah, I use that on there, and like I said, the robot mower I'll chuck on there eventually. Love the idea of robot mowers. I think they're getting big over there as well, aren't they?
Gaining traction for sure.
Yeah, but it just makes so much sense, I think, especially for people who are busy. To be able to have the robot go out there 2-3 times a week and then you every 4 weeks or something are treating weeds or fertilizing. Like, yeah, for the right people in the right setting, it makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
What's the go-to brand for you guys over there with the robots? Like, what are you planning on using this year?
I got a Husqvarna one to try, or to create content about. They gave it to me, which was really nice. So yeah, and really enjoyed it. Works well. Just set it up, map the area, and off it goes. No wires or anything like that. I think the wire versions across the market, I think, are just quite annoying. So people brands are trying to probably not use them as much.
Yeah, they're getting phased out.
It makes a lot more sense to have wireless. So I've got that one, and that's working well for me. I have mapped it out for the back lawn for if there's ever a time where I can't get out there, but haven't needed to use it so far. But yeah, definitely. I would never go and it's got to be authentic. I would never get on there and be like, mowing, who'd want to mow? Like, use a robot mower. So,
You're not the right guy for that.
Yeah, which I've seen before, and it's like, you're a mowing page, like if you were just an average DIY page, like you can't spruik it from that. It's got to make sense from that perspective of how it fits into the whole picture, which when I redo my front yard, and I am going to have a cooch or Bermuda lawn out the front there, which I will want to keep pretty low, sort of that 10, 12 mil, half an inch kind of area. When I'm in the growing season, I'm grooming that, and I'm out in the backyard as well, maintaining that every 3-4 weeks with grooming. And so between the front and back is probably a standard mow between those is going to be like, probably take me an hour and 15 minutes or something like that. Longer if I'm recording stuff, longer if you get the line trimmer out and do the edges and all that sort of thing. So to have the robot on that buffalo section will be super, super handy.
And you mentioned that you haven't used it in the back, but you have it mapped out. And like, it's just so nice to have that in your back pocket, because I use it because I take a couple of vacations in the summer. Like I'm gone a week, or you're gone 5 days, and you don't want to come home to overgrown grass and bagging way too much or breaking the 1/3 rule and all that, right? And it's so nice to set that thing out every 2 to 3 days and do its thing. And you come home and you're like, this is awesome. Now I can just stripe it and be on with my life.
Yeah. Well, we had a trip planned for 2.5 weeks, so we had to cancel because of my wife's sickness. But that's the exact time that I mapped it out in early December or something like that, thinking, yep, cool. We're heading off just after Christmas for 2.5 weeks. But in the end, I was home cylinder mowing every 2 or 3 days. But it would have been handy, and it will be handy, the next time we're away for an extended time for some reason, to just be able to map it and send it out there. Definitely a time and place for them. Not cheap, obviously, to get set up with. It's obviously a bit of a luxury item in some cases, but maybe if someone's tossing up between a ride-on mower that they've got to spend 2 hours on every couple of weeks, or they can get a robot for, the same price or a bit more or whatever, could really make a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
You've had some really good accomplishments in the last 2 years, specifically this past, I'm going to say summer, because that was our summer, fall, winter, I don't know, past 6 months or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Where you did something very unique to your backyard, and something you made a playing surface in your backyard for one of the big events down there. Tell us a little bit about that, and then where that took you, some of the opportunity that led you on, and maybe where probably some of our listeners have seen or heard you from that.
Yeah. So I essentially made a football field in my backyard. So we've got Australian rules football over here, the AFL. So equivalent, it was coming up to the grand final, so equivalent of the Super Bowl for you guys. So
Sure.
If you're thinking American football, think of a pitch all made up, fully line marked and all that sort of thing. So it was basically a year ago, sort of last February, when I first had the idea to create it. So I got out there with a tape measure. I can't remember the exact thing, but I think it was the actual MCG, which is a 100,000 capacity ground where the grand finals played every year. I shrunk it down by I think 8 times or something like that for it to fit length and width. So got out there with the tape measure, and then just sort of nutted out the project. I had Ryobi as a major sponsor, which was very, very helpful to bring it all together. The first quote I got for line marking of the field, because I had to outsource that because I did think about line marking myself, but that's, the finishing touches. If there was squiggly lines everywhere, it would have gone viral for the wrong reasons of looking a bit dodgy. So the first quote I got for line marking was like $3,000, which is which way does the conversion go? I can't even remember. Maybe like 2,000 US.
About
Is that
that.
how it works? Yeah. 1,500. So I was like, whoa, okay, cool. Yeah, if I can get a sponsor on board here, that's going to really help, as well as, all the time and that sort of thing that goes into it with everything else. So, so they came out. It was kind of 2 weeks before the grand final. I had the lawn looking good. So coming out of winter, sort of the first week of spring, got it all striped up, looking amazing. It's pinned right at the top of my Instagram if anyone's wants to look at it. But it all came together really well. I had a line marking company called Grass Up. They actually do all sorts of stuff. They do maintenance on football ovals, cricket grounds, cricket pitches, and all that sort of thing. So they came out, marked it all up, and got all the shots. Got it all. Had iconic commentary moments, iconic moments from AFL grand finals over the years, and posted it up on the Sunday night before grand final weekend. So sort of strategically, Sunday nights are a good time for me if I want to post something I think's good. So I got it up, and just kind of, I think I went to bed that night and it was at like 90,000 views or something. I was like, like it's going well. It's good, Sort of woke up in the morning, I think, to go to the gym or something, and I was like, oh, okay, it's picking up. And it's sort of every time I check my phone, another 30,000, another 40,000, and then I took my kids to the zoo that day, and then I got a phone call from one breakfast TV network, and then I got an email from another one, and then so that was the Monday, and then the Tuesday I had a TV interview at like 6:30 in the morning. So I just set up with my laptop, and that was onto a kind of smaller network, and then I had 2 other networks turn up for a live cross, and then another one. Channel 10 did a pre-recorded piece that went on the 6 o'clock news. Couple of radio things to talk about it as well, which, it's obviously more of a visual thing, but still good, a good chat. And it was just kind of one of those things where pages, all sorts of pages, whether it's sports betting pages or just general sports related things, probably stole a heap of my views. I know one guy, like a big football page, this guy that reshared it, he got like 800,000 views. I was like, hey, can we ship those back over to me, please? On my personal page, I've definitely had videos get more views, but this was probably like as viral gets, I think, in terms of just how widespread. If they didn't necessarily view it through my, I don't know how many TikTok got, I think maybe 1.5-ish or something, and 2.5 on Instagram. But then, through different Facebook pages and things that shared it, obviously being on all the major TV channels and stuff as well. So it was probably, I don't think I could ever really top it. I definitely had an idea that it was going to be really cool. And actually just the other night, for whatever reason, ended up on it and watched it through again. And I just, because it's been so long now, I sort of watched it back and went, shit, that was pretty cool. that was a cool project. So
it was really fun to watch. And like, you kind of teased it a little bit, but then it's like, what am I doing to, anyone have any guesses to what's going on or whatever? And it was, the final product was something else, man. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, you did a great job of showing the final product and like the drone shots and stuff, everything that you did. And the thing is, like, so many people try to recreate like a football field, like even like in America, like American football field scaled down, or a soccer field, and they paint it and they maybe put up some half-ass goalposts or whatever, and it looks cool. It's fun for the kids, but like yours look like somebody should be actually playing on this thing. And like your goalposts, I know were pretty, they're not like official, but like you made them look legit. Whatever they call it, they call them field goal posts. I don't even know what they call them there. But,
goalposts.
Goalposts. But then like your lawn is so beautiful, and it just like the way you painted it just looked like, it's like, I just feel like maybe they should host it there instead.
Like,
smaller scale.
No, thank you. It's I for something as well, I think sometimes you can have, it could be anything, but you just have an idea in your head for so long and it can end up an anticlimax. You know, even things with kids where you're like, all right, we're going to go out and we're going to have the best day today because I've got this, and this plan. And then things happen and it turns out to be, you know, no good. Whereas some other day that's like, it's what sort of I was saying before, you know, the video that you never expect to go viral goes viral. So for this one that I planned, February to September. So it was in the works and there was emails going around and there was planning and there was product applications and everything for 7 months to bring it all together, and going through countless YouTube videos and clips trying to find the audio that I was going to use, and the actual editing of the YouTube video and the shorter version videos that I put up, like everything that went into it to like be there and be like, all right, I'm ready to hit post, like, how's this going to go? And for it to end up doing as well as it did, I think it was just really, really cool, I think. And hopefully, I just don't think I could replicate it. Lots of people were saying about doing something for cricket, doing a cricket pitch next.
That sounds exhausting.
Maybe next year. We'll see.
Well, like on that note too, like we saw the end product and it's like, oh damn, you just did that overnight. That's super cool.
Right.
Was there like a moment where you just wanted to give up and quit, where something happened, something just didn't work, or like you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that?
I actually,
like halfway through the product,
I actually stained it a bit black the week beforehand with iron. So a soil test I did actually end up coming back that I've just got naturally high levels of iron in the soil. So if I ever use iron, I have to just use a dash. Whereas I went a high rate, I was like, all right, cool. Like I'd planned out my liquid, schedule for months in advance, and planned for this liquid sort of 6-ish, 7-ish days beforehand, a good dose of iron to really give it a boost. And, it sort of went black. In a lot of areas, and I'm like, oh no, what am I going to do? But thankfully it was growing enough to grow out.
Right.
And by that next week on the Wednesday or whatever it was, had disappeared. And the checkerboard I had going was probably, super mid to late September for us. Is just, you've kind of gotten the first granular out a couple of weeks beforehand. If you're on your liquids, been feeding throughout winter, and then, I always tend to kind of late August to later winter, early spring. Just want to give it a bit of a scarify, just to remove a bit of that thickness and excess stolons and that sort of thing. And so, give it a little touch up, get the granular into it and everything else. And just with nature starting to turn at that time of year as well, like that mid to late September time is just generally magic. So the spring rains and stuff kicking in as well. So definitely a good time of year. So, but this year we'll have a newborn, so I'm not committing myself to another grand final.
Smart man.
Just repost it, you'll be good.
Oh, for sure, repost it. Yeah. It's cool that you're able to sit back like months and months later and just kind of appreciate everything that it is, because like you said, so much time and effort and planning goes into it that you see the vision, and as you're doing it, you're like, cool, it's coming out just like I want it, but like you don't get to actually appreciate the final product like other people do. Like we thought it was like an overnight thing. Obviously we know it's not, but like it seems that way. It's like all of a sudden it's like you have this in your backyard. So congrats, man, you pulled it off.
I mean, like I said, I just for it to do as well as it did in the end was amazing. And probably not as much like came from it than, which is sort of, I think was in your initial question, Chris, but like not as much really came from it as people might expect as well. I think I've had certain people say things or in messages and stuff that are like, you must have had people coming at you from everywhere wanting to throw things at you or, give you stuff and, sign you up to sponsor things and whatever, but not particularly, to be honest. So it was a really massive, big few days, I guess. And every now and again now it still, gets a few comments onto it or people, see it again. But probably it was just a massive sort of week. And people still, that I know might mention it to me now if I haven't seen them for a while. But I guess that's how those kind of things go. Like the Hawk Tour girl, massive.
I actually thought
you're the Hawk Tour girl.
You have your moment.
You're staying
Have
a lot
you
more
not?
relevant than her. Just don't do one of those meme coins. You'll be okay.
I was thinking about it.
Grass coin.
The grass coin.
The
There
grass
you go.
coin. Yeah, we'll support it. I'll buy in. I'll just get out right away. I know when. But Nick, like, we're excited to hear about what you have coming up in the fall because you're almost done with summer here. But before we get to that, let's give the listeners a little something special. You work with Ryobi. We work with Ryobi. We did some giveaways.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah, we just become best friends. But we did some giveaways over the holiday season, and they were big hits. We want to be able to give back some more. So let's give away a little Ryobi package, a string trimmer and blower to one lucky person. So let's say if go to
There it is. I was waiting for that.
Now
Looking
it's
for it.
official.
There it is. Found it.
So here's how to enter for a blower and string trimmer from Ryobi, USA only, because that's where our contacts are. Okay, so USA only people. Sorry, Australia. But to qualify, go to thelawnfeed.com, submit a question to the Motime mailbag. And if you don't know what the Motime mailbag is, that's an opportunity for you guys to send us an email or leave a voice message, and we'll play it on the show, and we'll answer your question on the show. This has been a big hit for us, especially during the lawn season, but with lawn season coming up, let's start to get your questions. What do you want answered heading into the lawn season here? Because spring is almost here. Let's give you guys till March 13th, 2025 to submit a question on the Motime mailbag, and that will get you entered into the Ryobi giveaway for string trimmer and a blower.
Blower and a
Blower.
stringer.
Blower, I just met her.
Yeah, right? Barely know her.
Hey, in terms of Ryobi chat, so you guys all, use Ryobi and obviously working with Ryobi on the podcast. Like, how do you tend to go in comment sections? Because I know the sort of tradie market over here, the more professional
vicious.
market, man, they can just really get on a high horse about the type of tools you use and all that sort of thing. So I've got a couple of examples in particular, but obviously it's a fit for purpose sort of brand and tools and all that sort of thing. So and you guys wouldn't be talking about it and you wouldn't use it in your yards if it was, it didn't work. So
Right.
how have you gone, I guess, posting Ryobi in your time? Interested.
It's funny because a lot of them I try to like prod a little bit, just enough to like figure out if they're like a Milwaukee people. So if they're like a Milwaukee brand, because it's the same. It's the same company for the most part. And like, it's funny because there's like 4 or 5 brands out there. That's it. But Ryobi serves the purpose for a lot of average homeowners, and the in my opinion, the majority, and they're not paying me to say that. Like that's my honest opinion of it. Where it's like if you are in a new house, if you are in a new development, or you're just starting out doing whatever, those are probably going to be the first couple tools that you ever buy. And in my case, that was my case. I just kept going with them. But it's funny because I've done the same amount of I've done more complex projects than some of what you just said, like the tradies and all of those get contractors, whatever, on their other tools, DeWalt, whatever you want to do, right? And it's like we're doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
Like
At the end of the day, like, a drill, it doesn't matter what color it is and what brand it is, is going to put the screw into the timber. It's like, if you want to use it once every 2 months or for a week straight for a project and then it sits in the shed, versus if you want to use it for 40 hours a week every week, like obviously, that's where the differences start to come in. But I had two videos that I've put up. One of them was I used the hook at the start. Petrol equipment, I just don't get it. And then went in to talk about battery power, and I was like, because my next sentence was like, yes, there's a time and place for it, but for the average homeowner, it's so much easier to just click in a battery and like off you go kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And man, the comments, like, which is sort of like, it's what I was going for, I guess. Like, it's a hook for a reason, and it got views and comments out of all of these vlogs who, wanted to jump in and, I'll take my Honda 4-stroke any day, and it's like, I gotcha. Thanks for the
Yeah,
thanks for the comment. It's like, but you also just, they're like, oh, what about that big petrol mower you've got to mow your back lawn and stuff? And it's like, did you listen? Because I said,
No,
yes, there's a time and place for it. And yes, my time and place is when I'm using that cylinder mower, when I'm, doing other jobs around the yard or using my 2-stroke scalping mower for a renovation. Like, yeah, but gotcha. And another one was using a post hole digger, like 18-volt post hole digger. And it did such a good job. It was a really good tool. Yeah, like especially being 18-volt, and my soil in that garden area, like I was going down like 600-700 mil. I don't know what the equation is for that. Maybe it's like a third of a foot or something, quarter of a foot. And yeah, it was like just the comments on that one as well, because clearly, like and on the bit of clay through the soil. So I mentioned that in the video. I was like, I've got a bit of clay in this soil and it did a really good job. And so I'd use the post hole digger to get to a certain point as much as I could. And then there's so much. It was like pretty wet on the day as well, and that was making a mess. But anyway, so then I'd use the shovel, dig around it, go again, shovel, just working down in sections, with an 18-volt tool. And all these comments, it's like, oh yeah, it looks like really heavy clay, and oh, I didn't know they made square post hole diggers now. I'm like, fuck. It's like, oh, obviously he's used a shovel. And I'm like, yeah, it is obvious, but I've used a post hole digger. And I'm saying like it's done a good job,
Right.
And
people don't
obviously he used a shovel as well. I was, yeah, it is obvious. You can see the shovel in the video. Like, I'm not trying to hide it. Like, I've made like a 40-second video. Do you if you want me to make an hour YouTube video about it that you're not going to watch, then cool. But yeah, I just it's just comment sections in general, isn't it? It's what we sign ourselves up for. Like, you're always going to get people who come across your videos, and at some point you've just got to accept the fact that it's always going to happen no matter what you do. And it's kind of good if they're going to drop a comment, because it's going to just feed the comments and the views and that sort of stuff. But you just like, there's that part of you that just goes, man, like, use a brain cell. Listen to what I actually said.
Just a brain cell.
I mean, the bottom line is those guys will never try to use Ryobi, because they will never. But if they did, they'd probably be pleasantly surprised with how well it works and the quality of it. So
fit for purpose.
You're not going to win, but you're winning in your engagement on your videos. So that's
my biggest knock was maybe some of their batteries a couple years ago. Like, they've released way better ones, right? Like I can't remember what it's. Is it the Edge? I think it's the Edge.
Yeah.
The new one. It's 18-volt. The thing makes that tool so much better, and it's night and day. Where it kind of like, for me, all the quorums that I did maybe have at the very beginning of like a tool over there, of like, can it really do? Well, yeah, no, it kind of can, right? And it's like you said, serves a purpose for the right person. It's not necessarily going to be a commercial thing, but for the homeowner, it's perfect.
Yeah,
and they've got so much other stuff on there too. It's great, like fans, lights, all that.
Oh yeah,
not speakers now.
Like I had like I don't know, 10 or so Ryobi tools before I ever got given a Ryobi tool, and now I've got plenty. Like for my feature garden, they sent me sanders and planers and not planer, but yeah, some sanders and like routers and different stuff.
Sure.
Like, I got heaps of stuff in the shed now. A lot of it I've purchased. Some of it I've been given, but in any case, it's what I would have been sticking with anyway. I've had some projects where I've used the stuff a lot, and then it'll sit in the shed for months. So yeah, fit for purpose. And at the end of the day, you can't look at a deck and say, that was definitely, I can tell this type of drill was used on that deck.
Mm-hmm.
Was the deck at your new place, or is that your old place? New place.
New place, yeah. Yep.
You did that whole thing yourself, didn't you?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Go. You guys got to go look at this project. I could have sworn that was your old place, but it's just been that long since we've had you on.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
That was a really fun project to keep tabs on.
Do you know what? Like I made a good Ryobi video out of that too. But see, the thing with that whole project was the whole deck and enclosed outdoor entertaining area come together really well. I still need to grab the tiles actually, coming up to 2 years later. But anyway, don't talk to my wife about that bit. But yeah, like you would never, ever, ever, ever want to pay me an hourly rate to do jobs like that, because the amount of time I stood back, hands on hips, going. Whereas, the end product, like I was so meticulous with it because I knew I was going to have to walk through this back door every day. So super meticulous with it, and it is really nice. But yeah, far out, you would not want to have paid me an hourly rate to get it done. That's for sure. But I made a video right at the end of that because I had, heaps of videos in the making of that and people commenting on Ryobi tools. And so I made a video and I was like, I can't believe it. All these people have been commenting about Ryobi, and I've just come out here right now and look at this. And just scanned to a before video where it was empty. So it's like, all of the timber found out it got built with Ryobi and just left or disintegrated or something like that. I really, imagine if Ryobi did a campaign that was like another failed Ryobi project, but it was like, just something looking really good. That's like... You imagine if they just really lent into that.
Just lean right into it.
Yeah, just sarcasm. I love it.
Why not?
Listen to a podcast with the marketing manager of Ryanair, and I don't know if you've ever come across their social stuff, but they just really lean into the fact that they're a cheap airline. It's like the whole thing of like, you paid £10, what do you expect? And they built like millions of followers and, off just leaning into the fact that they're a budget airline and what do you expect? And yeah, so that's imagine if Ryobi went along that line of like really leaning into those,
just the haters.
Yeah, lean into it. Yeah,
Why
another
not?
failed project.
Looks great.
Yeah, here's our drill that drills things. Can you believe it?
Speaking of projects, you mentioned earlier about you can do some cool season grass in your area, and you're coming into the off season. So, are you planning to use some cool season grass? You going to do any projects?
Yeah. So, if anyone's not familiar with my front yard, I've got like 5 sections broken up, which is really.
Guy has 5 front yards.
I've got bits where there used to be trees, and the tree roots have broken the concrete and that sort of thing, and so it's dangerous for my precious cylinder mower out there if I crack it on the edge of a lifted paver or broken concrete and that sort of thing. So I really want to change the layout, create a bit more garden space as well. So I've just killed the front lawn, and I'm going to plant rye next week actually. So yeah, that'll be up soon. And so I'm going to have that ryegrass for probably 3 or so months. And then I'm looking to remodel the front yard. So turn the 5 sections into 3. And be able to put in some new garden beds and reshape things and get rid of some raised and crappy concrete and pavers and all that sort of stuff that I mentioned. Get some new sod, get some turf out there, of a new lawn variety. So that'll bring me to... I guess I'll have the rye, the buffalo, and the kaku, so 3 lawn varieties, and then I'll swap the rye out and dig out all that soil and everything again to bring in fresh soil, because I've had a lot of issues with soil deficiencies and the growth in my front lawn. So yeah, definitely dig that out again a decent way, bring in some fresh new sandy loam and some turf, and get irrigation out there, because that's the other thing, portable sprinklers. I use HoseLink ones out there at the moment, which their impact sprinklers are great. Really, really like them. But just the manual sprinkler system, if you can sit there and program it from your phone, it just makes you so much more likely to be able to keep the grass going well through the summer heat and that sort of thing. And even just to be able to, on the back lawn, or what's that? Child just run past.
Oh yeah, he gone.
Yeah,
he's on the move.
Oh, he's got a toilet break. To be able to just spread the fertilizer and just go bang and then walk off and carry on with your day, instead of spending the next, half an hour, 40 minutes of turning on this sprinkler and moving over here and blah, blah, blah. Set a timer on your phone, go back to it. Will be very, very nice. So yeah, look to bring in Heaps of new nice gardens and things around it as well, which I think is something you guys do a bit at your place as well. I've seen, nice gardening stuff. I think it just really sets it apart. Like some people, just want lawn, and you know what, sure. But yeah, if you can bring in some nice flowering shrubs and trees and things like that. And Vince, I know you posted about like your annuals and that sort of thing. He just went past again, didn't he? Behind me. Yeah, like I just think it makes the lawn look so much nicer as well to have beautiful gardens around it. So yeah, I'm getting just as much satisfaction with my new lawn area as I am seeing the plants start to thrive. Out of 60 or so, and I planted just before Christmas, so 3 weeks into summer, and the end of spring was pretty hot too. And I've only had one death in one of the raised planters, so I need another. Only need to replace one, and all the rest are looking really, really nice. So I get just as much enjoyment out of that, and even some of the trees I've planted out the back, and my veggie garden, and starting to harvest. The oranges on the orange tree are starting to look good, so they'll be ready in a couple of months, and the apples will be in their third season next year, so they should start to fruit a bit more. So yeah, I think it's that whole thing, the gardens and everything around it, just gets you outside more and really sets off the lawn, having a nice garden behind it too.
So you can have both.
It depends how much time you got.
Well, I always like those comments, speaking of common stuff of people like plant wildflowers, or why don't you just plant a garden, or like our comments go wild, at least over here they do. But it's funny because like you show your lawn, you show the mowing, but you don't show the gardens that you have, the plants that you have, the trees that you're planting, the wildflower patches that you have. But people just eat you up for just having a well-kept lawn over here in America.
Oh man, same here.
Yeah, it's everywhere. I mean, when coming from like a landscape designer, it's like the lawn is the centerpiece. It's everything around it that makes the space, and how you can design it, and how you can have people flow through it, and all of that stuff. It's like every time I watch one of your project videos in your lawn, whether it's a DIY project or something that you're actually doing in landscaping or in the garden, like. I'm always impressed because you execute it damn near picture perfect. It comes out great. The sweat that you put into it always comes out great. I was like, oh, man, what's he up to now? Like, what the hell is he possibly doing now? And then
it's all about those camera angles.
2-3 weeks later, it's just like, God damn, that looks really freaking good.
Yeah, or like even my veggie garden, like it's a very aesthetic veggie garden. Like I could have just slapped some sleepers on the ground and planted stuff, which if you only cared about, growing stuff is probably what you would do. But yeah, I did the whole picket fence around it and all that sort of thing, and built the raised beds and, put in the trellis, and I made a big archway over the entry, and, I've got some cucumbers growing over the top of that at the moment. And so, yeah, it's definitely a very someone, if you really wanted to, you got a lot of vegetables growing there, but there was also a lot of, timber that I used, and, resources that go into all that sort of stuff. So I don't know, you definitely can't please everyone, but I love that space. I love being in it. It's a beautiful area. I'm super proud of it. And,
it's all that matters.
Yeah. And it's all about balance, I've got a huge lawn, and that huge lawn could be wildflowers, or it could be more gardens. And I probably would design it a bit differently if I was starting from the start. It's just the garden edging was already where it was, and certain trees that were in place. It was like, so, and now that the irrigation pipe's in the ground, it's like if I did really want to change it a lot more from what it currently is, like I've already eaten into it a little bit and put garden down the back where the new feature garden area is. But yeah, like for me, a balanced space is, definitely what I enjoy, and having, been able to eat the vegetables. I had spaghetti last night from, and the sauce was just homegrown tomatoes, like homegrown tomatoes. Oh,
so good.
The flavor, like you eat one from the supermarket and it's like, what is this floury piece of crap? Like this is terrible. Yeah. So yeah, like lettuce from the garden, and the cucumbers as well. Been dropping off cucumbers to neighbours and all that sort of stuff. And wife's been taking stuff to work, and yeah, it's just really good fun in there as well. And the kids love being in there too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's great.
You planted corn.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing down there. Like corn, we have a lot of that.
It's corn.
How tall is that? Is that something you're gonna eat? Is that something you're gonna what do you tell us all about the corn?
Look, my happiest one, I'm just looking at it out the window. It's probably like, I don't know, it's up to your elbow, some of them.
All right.
It's not too bad. My tallest one, it's been really windy for 4 or 5 days now, so I've had one just fall over. But yeah, corn, we can grow heaps of stuff. Like if you're in more northern areas, you can start to grow mangoes and avocados and all sorts of stuff as well. So it's very seasonal. Like for us, we'll be a lot of broccoli, cauliflower and peas and that sort of stuff through winter. Right now I've got a couple of really big watermelons. So I'm waiting to be able to harvest those. A bit of pumpkin. My strawberries have been a fail. I think they've been shooting throughout the garden bed, so I need to keep them pruned a bit more. But tomatoes been great. Cucumbers, like I said. So yeah, I've just put in some new lettuce the other day. I've got an asparagus plant, which is looking quite nice. So yeah, it's definitely, I enjoy that side of things as well, for sure.
That's really cool. My wife's huge into that. She's like, I can tell it's going to become an issue. Positive issue, but issue nonetheless.
Fighting for space, maybe?
Yeah, well, it's just like, it's going to be like, okay, how much space do you need? And the answer is going to be yes. But,
Yeah.
but it's going to be like, it's a learning experience because it's like you're going into something completely different.
Yeah, and already, like
curves.
there's heaps of things I've planted way too close together, so it's crowded things out and it hasn't worked, and that's died. And like sometimes been tomatoes not getting to them before the pests do, so I'm trying to get them when they've just getting that tinge of red, so that they're not going to get eaten once they're fully ripe and that sort of thing. So yeah, I've probably it's nowhere near as productive as what it could be, my whole space, because I do have quite a bit of planting space in there. But yeah, like I'll improve. I think the birds took most of my carrot seeds the other day, so I need to replant the carrots at some point. But you just get to learn how it all works, and hopefully don't have too many possums stealing my stuff as it matures. But yeah, overall, I enjoy it. I've been able to eat stuff out of there most days in the last, I'd say 4 or 5 months. So it's good fun. It's a good extra little hobby, and the kids, like I said as well, like being in there and planting the seeds. Even though they spill them everywhere, and then stuff grows where it's not supposed to. But anyway.
That's just it. Our zucchini got smoked by a squash boar. Didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I obliterated overnight. It's crazy. You just saw one stalk. One night, 2 night, 3 night, 4 night, whole bed gone. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy.
Like lawn grubs. Just a
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
There are a fair few similarities though as well, like keeping on top of your pruning and your maintenance, and looking after the soil and all that sort of stuff. Like it's in pretty similar ballparks. Planting and plants, vegetables, lawn, like it's all pretty similar concepts. So
Yeah.
Nuts.
Cool. So, what other projects do you have coming up? We hit on a bunch of them, but do you have anything cool and exciting you want to tell the followers and listeners and stay tuned for?
Well, I'm been editing all my videos and stuff on this camping trestle table for a couple of years now. So we're getting the study done soon. Bit of cabinets. You can see the kids' bags hanging up here if you're watching it on YouTube. But so some spot for kids' shoes and bags to hang up, and space to be able to put paperwork and things, 'cause it's just crap everywhere at the moment. So doing that soon. Doing the laundry while it's still warm, so there's not as much washing getting done. And it's not as inconvenient to not have a laundry for a couple of weeks. So we'll get that done soon before the baby comes. And there's, all that winter laundry plus newborn vomit, poo explosion laundry. And that's just my wife.
Something about that.
She seems sweet. She does not deserve that.
Look, she deserves the easiest baby. We deserve the easiest baby in the world, particularly her, because, hopefully nightmare pregnancy, easy newborn. But we'll get that done. And then I think back end of the year, once my wife does go back to work, I will be primary carer for that period of time. So definitely it'll just, I think back end of this year will be a lot of maintenance, just keeping on top of maintenance. And I'm really going to be conscious. I don't know how much you guys did it with kids, but from early on, not being dead silent when they're asleep, making noise and stuff, so they get used to sleeping through noise. And I definitely want to do a bit of research and maybe speak to an audiologist or something like that about baby earmuffs and stuff to put in the carrier while you're mowing and things like that, or at least be in the bouncer sort of in some shade nearby while I'm mowing, and getting used to certain things like that. So the baby's used to being outside, being near the, somewhat close to the mower and those noises and all that kind of thing, to be able to maybe cooperate when I want to do things outside. I get used to the noise and that sort of thing, and make sure it's all she's all safe and happy hearing wise. But so we'll be looking to do a bit of that. I really want to work on the kids' playground area. Something I probably need to do more as a person in general is give myself more credit for what I have done. So like they've got the sandpit and the in-ground trampoline there, and the cubby houses there and stuff. But think about the fact of how much lawn work I've done in the last 2.5 years, and I haven't started on the putting in a bit more of what I had planned in terms of additional play stuff for them, especially with the oldest, coming up to 6. I want to try and get some of those things done in their kind of playground area as well, that I've had planned for a while. So there's always going to be projects, I'm sure, but especially once the baby's here, it's going to be a lot of just staying on top of maintenance. And the front yard, I'll hopefully get most of it done. It'll just be like the issue of harvesting turf in the middle of winter, so it'll just have to think of some sort of cover crop to go out there when I bring in the new soil before the other turf's ready to harvest. Always going to be projects, and obviously just probably going to be more so about seeing how the baby slots into the family and all that sort of stuff as well. The back end of this year won't have my expectations too high. Definitely a different sort of chapter that we're going to enter for a bit there until, she gets older and more independent and interesting and all that sort of stuff. So
Interesting.
They're just a blob and they just sit there, and sleep, they get a bit more older and a bit more exciting.
You just adapt with the children.
Yes, well, you got to, don't you? I think that was the thing with our oldest. Like every month, I was like, "Oh, this is my favorite." From like 4 months to 6 months to 8, I was like, "Oh, this is my favorite. This is my favorite." And I was like, "Oh, now we've got a newborn again. Boring." Definitely, babies are cute and all that sort of stuff. But
I always said once they're able to sit up or support themselves just a little bit, that's when it gets good. That's when you can sit there and be with them and not have to constantly coddle them because of fear of them hurting themselves or something. They can hold themselves up. They got a little bit of a personality in them, and that's when it starts to get fun.
And they're so precious for so long, aren't they?
And then they start to move on their own. Then you have to watch them like a hockey.
Yeah.
Dude,
See,
His daughter, so he's never going to be able to say no. So you're screwed.
So I was with some friends the other day, and they're 2.5-year-old, just under 2.5. He's still having naps and stuff like that. And I was saying to them, wait until he stops having naps. It's the best. I don't know where you guys stand on this, but for me, when Hudson stopped napping, so good. Instead of having to be all right, let's get up, let's pack the bag, let's go, so we can get home by 11:30 to do, bottle and go to bed. Oh man, now just being able to kind of, cool, let's do, we'll do some Lego, yep, cool. Let's go outside for a bit. Now we'll head out and we'll go to this playground and get some food and whatever, and we'll get home whenever. It's so much better, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's the best. Still got to do some quiet time sometimes. Ours just turned 8, and it's just dude, chill. But it's it's just kind of that freedom. And then when the second one, well, in your case, third, stops napping, it's just everything you've just done for the past 6 years doesn't matter. Your midday planning is no longer relevant at all.
Yep. Even with the bouncing around for school pickups and drop-offs and stuff like that, she's just going to have to get used to sleeping in the car or
she will.
in the pram,
she'll figure it out,
and stuff like that. So
she'll adjust whatever like you said, whatever stimulation you throw at her, she'll adjust.
And if she doesn't, she'll just scream, and then you have to adjust.
Well, that's what I was going to say. She'll adjust, or I'll have a breakdown.
Yep.
You're just going to cave in.
A little bit of
yes
both.
all the
One
time.
of you will be crying.
Put your earmuffs on. I'm mowing the lawn. Get in the carrier.
Just put her in the hauler in the back. It's good.
Yeah. Just put her in the bouncer facing away, so I
Good to go.
can't see or hear the screams. Just to clarify, I will not do that. If we're on the record.
That would be a funny video, though, just to make people think you did that.
Please do this. Go do
you know
that
what?
with a fake baby.
I'm definitely early on going to use this baby for content.
100%. Have to.
Like
Get her on payroll.
We decided probably 6 months ago to stop sharing our kids. Like my wife does finance and she's got
that's insane.
20-ish thousand followers as well. But yeah, we sort of, especially coming up to school and stuff like that, was like, you know what? I think we'll stop sharing them as much now.
Scary.
Yeah.
But when, you know, the baby's little blob face baby, you know.
Right.
Full send.
I'll get a
Use
few
them
videos
enough, they're
out
a
of that.
write-off.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You use a kid enough, they're a write-off completely.
Yeah.
100%.
Well.
I'm kidding. They're not.
No, you're not. That's all good.
wish.
Speaking from experience.
No, you should seriously get go get your ride on and put a hauler on the back, and then just go get a fake mount. Like go get your carrier, put it on the hauler, and get a fake baby, and just.
Oh, dude, talking about.
Do you know what? Like I've thought of that. I was like,
comments.
do you know what? You can really with some
Or
clever
do it.
with some clever editing, like you could put the baby in the carrier, and then the next cut is a pretend baby, and you're doing like ridiculous stuff.
God.
Like you could really, yeah, it wouldn't be quite.
Or with the baby just pushing the mower and then just put the sound of the mower in later.
Yeah, well, do you know what? Like I use the just pushing the mower without it. Yeah, I did like I mowed with the boys in the carrier at times when they were younger. But yeah, I think if I am going to do it now and record and post it, like I definitely, if there's certain types of earmuffs or certain decibel readings or like I don't know whatever it is, like
Battery
certain
power.
ages and that sort
Whisper
of stuff.
series.
Yeah. Well, my
Beother.
back lawn, you know, is I can put the battery mower in for the smaller patch, but yeah, from cylinder mowing with the Mowmaster for my main back lawn and stuff like that, then yeah, I'll probably want to.
You know what you should do? Get the robot mower and just say like your hook is mowing with the baby in my carrier, and you put the robot mower out, and then you just go do stuff with the baby around the yard. And people are like, "Oh, he's not actually mowing."
Not
Yeah.
where I thought that
But-
was going at all.
I thought he was going to say something with putting the baby on the.
Yeah, put the high
Robot
chair on
mower.
there.
The baby on there.
It's like a cat with the Roomba.
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
Yeah. Look, to be honest, either way, I probably am going to mow the lawn with the baby in the carrier. It just depends how much I record it and show it. To be honest.
Sure.
It will
Yeah,
be done.
but it's a hot take. You don't have to record it.
Make it.
Yeah. I don't know how much you guys get that disease of feeling like you have to record heaps of stuff to be able to not miss out and not miss a day when the lawn looks crisp. But yeah, it's a bit of a disease.
I know I snowblowed tonight, and I left my phone on a charger inside. And
Good for you.
And I'm just like, this feels weird. Like I moved my tripod out of the way to get my snowblower out of the garage, and I'm like, maybe I'll just set it up and do a time lapse. And I'm like, wait, I don't even have it out here. Let's just go. We're doing this. Yeah, it's nice. It's just get out there and just do something.
Yeah. Don't always have to press record. That's the good part.
Mhm.
Well, want to be conscious of your time considering you're on daddy duty as well. So,
It's gotta be about lunchtime.
yeah, I was about to say you got some hungry tummies there. Vince, you want to wrap her up before we go?
First, Nick, for the people living under a rock, where can people find you?
Lawns in GoodNick is the handle. If you follow me on TikTok, unfollow me and go follow me on Instagram. And then YouTube as well. Pretty much weekly uploads to YouTube. So yeah, always working on it's a bit more of a slower burn, the YouTube, but enjoy making those videos. So yeah, there'll be a seeding a new lawn. I don't know how long until this episode will be up, but probably around the time this episode goes up, a YouTube video will be up of seeding the front lawn. So that might be interesting, but yeah, they're the main two places, Instagram, YouTube.
Awesome. And Nick also has a bunch of guides and resources. So if you are in Australia and you happen to hop on this podcast to listen to that, make sure you go check him out and take a look at his guides. They're very helpful and insightful. So on behalf of the Lawn Feed, thank you guys. Thank you, Nick, for being here. And make sure you guys go to our website and check out our swag. And if you want some swag, use code BRAD15 at your checkout for 15% off your entire order. Just thank you guys so much for another great episode. Stay safe out there. Enjoy the wins and losses of parenting every day. And we'll see you the next one. Later.
Thanks for having me, guys. Cheers.
Mowtime mailbag. Win some stuff.